We're going to Canada. Many of you in the comments were so excited for me in my new adventure, but also were very quick to point out you're going to need an entirely new wardrobe because you're not going to be on the sunny beaches of San Diego anymore, and Canada is cold. Well, yes, I know, I grew up there, I spent 10 years there. And as a disclaimer, I will say that I'm moving to a much more mild part in Canada. I grew up in Edmonton. It could be -30 and blizzards. That is legitimately cold, and I probably would need a lot more things if I was going there, but I am not. I'm going to a more mild part of Canada, but it will still absolutely be way more cold than San Diego in winter, because basically everywhere is more cold than San Diego in winter, except Australia, because they're opposite. But anyway, I wanted to do this video because I actually am challenging myself and putting a challenge out there to anyone who maybe is living in a colder climate of this idea that you need a million things to survive in winter. And while you definitely don't want to freeze to death, and I'm not going to suffer for the sake of proving a point, I am going to accumulate pieces if I need to down the line. But to start out, I actually am only getting one thing, and I will show that at the end of this video. But going through the roster of the things I do have and what I have worn in colder climates before with the wardrobe that I have, I think I will be able to get away with just buying this one thing. And if anyone has seen my wardrobe tours and seen it's a plethora of just like leggings and short crop tops, you're probably scratching your head and being like, this chick's crazy, she's gonna get hypothermia and die. Well, I don't think so. So let's go through first, and I'm gonna show you the things I do have that maybe you didn't realize were in my ultra minimalist tiny wardrobe because I don't always film in them, or they're just not necessarily to wear in San Diego. But let me show you what I do have and sort of show you why I actually only need to buy this one thing. So let's start with footwear, right? Because we don't want frozen toes in the Great White North. Frozen feet suck. So I'm gonna show you what I have that actually is going to prep me for that and let me be just fine for my paws. Starting with socks, I have these and these. These are a super thick hiking sock, and these are actually, they're literally called a trekking/mountaineering sock. They're both designed for cold weather. These really big ones are designed for like sub-zero, -10, 20, 30. I'm talking in Fahrenheit here, whatever that is in Celsius, I don't know. But just cold, basically. Cold, snow, freezing, wind, winter. These are both designed for that. Have I experienced that in San Diego? Obviously no, but I did wear them in Oregon a couple years ago, and some of the days were like 20 degrees and snowing when I was in the mountains. So that's legitimately cold. And where I'm going, I'm talking, that's 20 degrees Fahrenheit, by the way. So whatever the hell that is in Celsius, math that for me. Cold and snowy, a little bit of sub-freezing temperatures. And where I'm going, it's not going to be much different than that. It's a pretty similar climate. So these have been tested out and my paws did just great. For these ones, especially if it's a particularly freezing day, I do have my thinner sort of like spring summer black hiking socks that actually fit underneath these for a double layer sock if I really need to go there. Talking footwear, the Blundstone boots, the best minimalist boot ever. I have a whole video on it. I've talked about them a bunch, but these boots are amazing because they are not only waterproof, they are snowproof, they are mudproof, they are any kind of whatever proof. I have worn them in every single type of climate, but not only are they good for the cold, they're also still fine for winter. For someone that has sort of runs hot, I don't. They maybe would say they are too hot, but I've got the thermal version. So I've worn these again in snowy mountain conditions and like trumped through snow. Obviously, if it's like a 6 feet of snow situation and it goes over the boot, that would probably not be good. You would get some soggy feet, but where I am, it'll snow like a little bit, but not a like 3, 4, 5 feet of snow type situation at all. It's like it'll stay around a little bit, maybe a week or so, and then melts, but certainly not be more than like 6 inches, probably not even that much. So it should be just fine. And I've worn these in sub-freezing temperatures in the snow, but I've also worn them in 90 degrees in the desert, and they just insulate my feet great, and they to protect my feet from any kind of elements. So between those and my big fuzzy socks, I am totally prepared in the foot department for this Canadian winter coming up. And those are all things that I already owned. So check on footwear. Next, let's get into accessories. These, you probably haven't seen any of them in my videos, except maybe, well, actually some of them have appeared, but gloves, definitely have not worn gloves in my videos because San Diego. I actually bought these when I was living in Oregon a couple of years ago. They definitely came in handy. They're just basic black, what are these from? The North Face, great company. They do have the little touchy, I don't know the technical word on that. You can use your smartphone through the glove, which is like hashtag not important, but we've all been there where it's like, it is kind of handy to be able to have that if you do wear gloves. But these I've been hiking in these in really cold weather and they did great. So paws are protected. Again, for if you're somewhere where it gets to those really, really freezing, blizzardy, below type places, you would probably need maybe a second pair of gloves or the mitten type situation. But where I'm going, it's gonna be, again, talking in Fahrenheit, usually not much colder than like 20 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So around 0 degrees Celsius. What is it? Double and add 32. That's like the conversion, something like that. But so not crazy, super cold and not crazy amounts of snow. So these will do just fine on my hands. I've got, where is it here? This has been in some of my videos. Turtle fur, great company, makes super warm, fuzzy, fleecy things. This is a ear warmer, so that will protect my head, my ears. And then I have 2 neck warmers. This is turtle fur also, and this is just from REI. They're both fleecy, warm, squishy. I like a neck warmer over a scarf because it's just less bulk and it's more compact to travel with. And I have owned a scarf previously. I found a neck warmer keeps me just as warm, if not warmer. The way it works is it just sort of like traps the heat in between the layers. Why do I have 2? I'll be honest, it bugs me that I have 2 because I'm just a neurotic ultra minimalist and I'm just like one of each thing that does something. So the fact that I have 2 neck warmers kind of stresses me out, even though that's so dumb. But the OG one is this one I bought when I was in Oregon. The black one I got for work because I have to wear a t-shirt at work and it's cold. I mean, sometimes when I get there in the morning, it's like 40, 50 degrees in San Diego. That's legitimately cold. So I bought the black one to wear at work because I always like spilling, I work at a restaurant and as a bartender, so I'm always spilling like sours and booze and curry sauce and all sorts of whatever all over me. So I didn't want to ruin my nice gray one. So that's how the black one came about. But now I realize the black one sort of styles with my wardrobe a little bit better. So what's an ultra minimalist to do? I don't know. I'm keeping both of them right now while I still have my job, but maybe one will get donated to a friend or someone that needs it, but maybe I'll just keep both. I don't know. It's like not a big life problem. So let's move on from that. So that is accessories. I will be covered in that department again for where I'm living. That should be just fine. Now, going into clothes, because I know you're all saying, okay, that's nice, but your wardrobe is not gonna cut it. But let me tell you, it actually is. So when you're dressing for cold weather, as if you're not a cold weather person, and you don't know this, the thing to do is you always want a base layer, which you actually want to be like pretty tight, close to your skin. Turtleneck feature on your base layer is always going to be a good bonus because that's where you lose a lot of your heat and or can keep a lot of the heat in if you have a turtleneck. So for base layers, I have this one that I'm wearing. Yes, it's a crop top. However, even though, I mean, I wear high-waisted pants, so there's just a little bit out there, like not a big deal. And I have worn this in really cold weather, and because it's a very thick material and it is snug to my body and does have this high mock turtleneck situation, it's actually really warm, and I've noticed it keeps the heat in despite being that little bit of crop if I have a proper jacket over it. The other base layer I have, this is actually the only thing that's not in any of my wardrobe tours. I did not buy it this year, so it's not new. I bought it last, I think it was around Thanksgiving or fall-ish sometime last year. And it is actually one of the few shirts I have that is, actually I think it's the only shirt I have that's not a crop top. I bought it specifically for winter to replace a full-length turtleneck that died a year ago, and it is from Vuori, that's kind of hard to say. Great company. This is all made from recycled materials, so that is a bonus. It's super soft and cozy, snug to the body again, which you want for a base layer. And another good base layer feature is it actually has this half zip. So if you're, say, hiking and you start to sweat, you don't want to sweat too much when you're out in cold weather, because then that, as the water evaporates, it'll make you more cold and damp, which is not a good thing. So if you start to elevate your temperature, you can open this up to sort of control that, which is great. And style-wise, it just gives you another look, but obviously the function of keeping your body heat the right temperature is the more important part of that. And black, of course, because, well, black is mostly what I wear. So that is 2 base layers. You may say, well, that's not enough, but how I live, it is. I'm perfectly happy to wear the same thing multiple days in a row, or just switch like Monday, Wednesday, Friday between the whatever shirts. Like, I really don't care what people think if people see that I'm wearing the same thing every day. And with a base layer, chances are no one's seeing it anyway, because you're wearing coats and whatever over it. So I really think 2 is enough. And again, when I was living in Oregon a couple years ago, throughout the winter, I just had the 2 base layers, and that was fine for me. So base layer situation, check, nothing new there. Next, when you're dressing for cold, you need a mid layer over the base layer. Mid layer, you do not want to be tight. You want it to have a little bit, not like huge and baggy, but a little bit more space, because the way it works is it just traps heat between the layers, kind of like how those neck warmers work. So you want it to be a little bit looser fitting, and something that's not too bulky, because you wouldn't need to have your main coat, winter coat, going over that. And what I have for my base layer, you may think, oh, I've never seen a base layer in your videos, but I'm cheating on it. What I'm using for my base layer is actually a coat, but it's a really thin coat. This is my Columbia jacket. It's in all my wardrobe video tours. This is a very old piece. I've actually had this since 2012, and it's gotten a lot of wear on it, but it has like one tiny hole in the pocket and like one little baby rip somewhere, but it still works great. And what's amazing about this jacket is it's super thin, so like I can just get it really nice and compact, which is amazing for travel. But despite being so thin, it is actually an amazingly warm jacket, because on the inside, I don't know if you can see that, it has this like space material, whatever, that it reflects your body heat. So especially as you start moving around and creating energy heat within yourself, this material sort of bounces it back, reflects it, and it creates like literally a working furnace on the inside. So I can go for a walk and wear this base layer with just this one, and if it's pretty cold outside and I'm hiking but I don't want a huge bulky jacket, I'm gonna stay really warm, especially if I have like a neck warmer situation with that. I'm gonna be nice and toasty warm. And what's great is it's not 100% waterproof, but it is water resistant. So if I do get caught in a little bit of light rain, I'll be totally fine. And it does have a hood on that. So this is essentially my mid layer and my rain jacket. I do have a lot of cold weather friends saying, oh, well, there's so many different temperatures and so many different weather situations, you need so many different types of things. And I hear you on that, but where I'm challenging myself, and maybe you, if you're up for the challenge, is to find really intentional, smart pieces that do multi-function. So instead of having a fleecy Patagonia, whatever mid layer, or a big bulky sweater as my mid layer, I'm essentially using my rain jacket as my mid layer. It'll keep me nice and warm. It's great if it's sort of springy weather and I don't need it to have a full winter jacket. If it's even warmer, I can wear a tank top underneath this, and then it's, because sometimes if it's like, say, I don't know, 59, 60 degrees and I'm hiking and I wear this base layer with this, then I'd be too warm, but I can wear a tank top with this. Or if it's just raining but not that cold, that works out for that, but a little bit colder still, I can do the full base layer with one of these and a neck warmer, and I'm good to go. But then if it gets into cold weather, which I will see where I'm going, and I'm gonna have a lot of rain where I'm going, and also some snow, which I am excited about. Where I do need something that is completely waterproof, that is where we have gotten into the new piece that I am about to show you, which, side note interjection, I haven't talked about bottoms because unless you're living in like the deep snow, which I'm not, I will not need snow pants. So the bottoms are just my normal bottoms, leggings across the board. I've worn them in cold weather. I don't notice a difference having legs, you know, like wearing like long johns or whatever, like unless you're skiing or in super cold weather. I am all about upper body and feet. As long as those are warm, I'm good to go. So nothing needs to happen with my bottom situation. So check on all of that. Are you ready? We're getting to what I actually got. It's furry, but of course, not real fur, hashtag duh. I'm gonna put it on for you. Here we are. So this is from Fjallraven. It's an amazing, got a little staticky there. Fjallraven is an amazing company. I did mention in my shopping video a few videos ago about looking for brands that are eco-conscious, use good materials, and use good or pledge to have good production and labor practices. Fjallraven is an amazing company. Shout out to my fellow Swedes that are watching. And I love it because, I mean, they are really passionate about helping make the outdoors accessible to everyone, and they make amazing products that are built to last, and they are so in alignment with integrity that they have a lifetime repair policy. So if, say, in 10, 15 years, I'm wearing this and the zipper breaks, I'll just take it to Fjallraven and they will repair it for me. But let's get into the actual specs of this jacket. So for extreme cold and rain, this is actually designed for climates that are even colder than the one I am going to. This I could rock out when I go visit Scandinavia, Norway, and Iceland, and Sweden, which I very much want to do. I will be able to wear this when I go there, but this is designed for sub-zero temperatures. So if I ever do visit those places and I'm in -30 and it's blizzarding, I'll be good to go. This is designed for that with a good base layer and my mid layer, which I tested it out. Despite this being a full-on rain jacket, because it's sleek, it fits right underneath this perfectly. So I have my base layer, my mid layer, and this outer layer. It is 100% waterproof, which by default means it's also snowproof. I've tested it out. I went for a walk in the rain in it, and it just comes right off. It doesn't soak through. It's got a hood for the rain, which is, it's never fun to, especially where I'm going, to carry an umbrella is not always practical, especially if it's intermittent rain. It starts, it stops, it starts, it stops. It's just another bulky thing to carry around. The hood feature just basically functions as my umbrella. That's the protection that I need. The faux fur will keep me nice and warm if it is windy. Zipping up, it has a super high neck, which again, keeping the heat in your neck, that's a really vital spot to protect yourself from getting too cold. And then the pocket situation is amazing. By the way, I'll just address the elephant in the room. Yes, my hair's short. I know, I had something to do with it. It was liberating as hell, and that's really all I'm gonna say about it, because that's not the point of this video, but we'll move on because I know some people have been, oh my gosh, your hair, it's gone. Well, yes, it's gone. Change is good. Anyway, let's go to these pockets. So you've got one on the front here, one on the front here. Here, I don't really use those ones yet, but then they've got some amazing ninja pockets. There's one right here. That's where I keep my little wallet and my AirPods. And then this is a really brilliant design, because if you've ever been out in the cold and you're fumbling for your car keys and you're trying to undo your coat, first of all, maybe your hands are cold, or second of all, it's just like, it sucks to undo your coat in the cold. This one, the zipper can stay completely zipped up, but this is sort of a outer one on the other side of the zipper. And that's where I keep my keys, so I can get to my keys without having to undo my coat. That's a really smart design feature. They've got two more pockets here where your paws can go. They are fleece lined. The hood is also fleece lined, so that's extra warmth. And then down here, there are even more pockets. That tends to be where I keep my cell phone. It's just a nice, easy access spot for it. However, on the inside, there's even more. This is such an intelligently designed piece. That's another thing I talked about when I decided to purchase is utility and function. So that's what all of this is that I'm going over right now. On the inside here, there is another special ninja pocket. So maybe it's fine that if you're walking with your cell phone and it's in this pocket and it starts pissing rain, I have a little bit of OCD. I don't want my phone to get water damage, so you can move it to this inside pocket where it's on the inside of this completely waterproof outer shell, so you know your important electronics are not going to get damaged. That's a really nice feature. And then lastly, there are sort of these larger mesh pockets here, to where if you are bundled up and you've got gloves and your neck warmer and your ear warmer on, and then you get inside and you don't want to be wearing those things inside, you can just tuck them right in here. Because I love not carrying a purse. I don't carry a purse, and you can just have everything you need on this. If you don't have your backpack with you, it's nice to be able to take your gear off, but then have somewhere to stow it if you don't, you're out and about and you don't want to just leave it sitting somewhere. So really smart design features on that. And like I said, this thing is amazingly warm and it's a great company, and I've tested it out it's not cold enough here, I'll be real, but I was I did my due diligence with the Fjällräven people, and they said this jacket specifically, it's designed for extreme cold weather. So it's going to be plenty warm for where I am going. And there's even more little features, like if you're, because you don't want the heat to leak out, if have your gloves on, there's little Velcros here, you can cinch that close, which another great design feature. But this is going to be plenty warm for where I am going, and it also is not real down, it is synthetic down. That is important to me. So this was a really, really great choice for me, and I think that it will, with everything that I have, just make it perfectly okay to get through this winter. And something also amazing about it is one of my aunts, because I have a really beautiful family. My dad has 4 sisters that have been very, very good to me throughout my life. And one of my aunts actually gifted this to me because she wanted to give a congratulations / helpful thing on my journey. So I'm very, very blessed to receive this, and I'm gonna roll with it. I think this is really the only thing I need to add to what I have to get through my Canadian winter. Will I have to adjust at some point and buy new things if I'm freezing? Yes, I'll do that, but just anticipating what I have had and worn in the past in similar weather, with just my other fuzzy jacket, the long faux fur one that's not nearly as warm as this. I was okay in that weather. So with this, I think I'm going to be just fine. And yeah, so let me know if you are a colder weather person and this has sort of inspired you to see where you can maybe have really intentional thoughts with your layering choices, and see where you can have multifunctional things that will give you different varieties for different temperatures, and see that you maybe don't need as much as you think, and it is still possible to be a minimalist in cold weather. All right, so with that, I'm going to leave you all, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.